Well, Redfin now says that home prices will fall by the end of 2025. And this is a major shift that you need to be aware of because we're already seeing price year over year declines in the following cities: Dallas, Jacksonville, Austin, Seattle, Tampa, Denver, Houston. Get ready for this one. Indianapolis. Yes, a Midwestern city has now made the year over year decline list. That's definitely a sign that things are changing. And Anaheim all had year over year price declines. Mortgage payments, they are near record highs. Inventory is up about 12% year over year. Deals are collapsing faster than they have since 2020 when COVID started. This is a critical shift in the housing market. Buyers and sellers need to be aware of it. Let's break it down live on the Housing Nerd this morning. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jason Ferrier. I am the Housing Nerd, and I've been a realtor and investor in Central Ohio for the past 7.5 years. Welcome a second time. And please, if you're joining this live, comment below. Even if it's after on the replay, comment below. I want to know what's happening in your housing market. If you're frustrated, if you're fed up with the housing market, obviously let us know. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Redfin national article, the national outlook with data and some charts. And then we're going to review the metros that you guys requested. I have a list already that I've accumulated from the past week on the requests you've made. I hope I got everybody. If I didn't, and if I missed somebody, I apologize, but you can request the metro on this live or on the replay, and I'll get to it on the next Redfin update. So that's how this rolls. And these Redfin updates can go a long time, but if you just want a national look at the housing market, that's what we're going to do right off the bat. And let me say good morning to a few people. Good morning, Blue Bonnie. How are you doing there? Explicate X Goods. Hey, good morning to you. Kevin Hawthorne, good morning. How you doing? Lakeland, Florida. What's up from Florida? All right. Let's jump into this. All right. So, title of this Redfin article this week is High Housing Costs Are Keeping Home Buyers at Bay, but Price Relief is in sight. Is it? I don't know. You comment below and tell me. Are you seeing lower prices in your neighborhood or higher prices still? I'm not seeing lower prices where I live, but real estate's hyper local, so you could be seeing it. The median U.S. monthly mortgage payment is $25 shy of its record high, sidelining would-be buyers, but the tide is turning for buyers. Redfin economists expect home prices to decline by the end of the year, and a surplus of listings is motivating sellers to negotiate. I know they're saying that listings are higher, and they are. We definitely have more listings, but there's something I saw in the data that you should definitely tune into to discuss, because it's one of the data points was not good if you're hoping for more inventory. I was surprised. We'll get to that in a minute. The median monthly mortgage payment nationwide is $2,860 during the 4 weeks ending May 25th, up 3.6% year over year, and just $25 shy of the all-time high. So I guess we're getting a $25 discount per month, right? That's enough to like go to McDonald's for like one, Big Mac, right? Huh. The weekly average mortgage rate is 6.86%, the highest level in 3 months, and the median U.S. home sale price is up 1.9% year over year. So according to Redfin, home prices are still up year over year. According to Zillow, they're still up. I have not seen a housing data index showing that prices are down year over year nationally yet. It's getting close, but nationally we're still up. High cost, along with widespread economic uncertainty, are keeping would-be home buyers at bay. Pending home sales are down 1.7% from a year ago. And Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, a measure of tours and other buying services from Redfin agents, is essentially flat from a month ago. Of the homes that are going into contract, roughly 14%, pay attention to this, roughly 14% of those deals are canceled. The highest share for this time of year since the housing market nearly ground to a halt during the start of the pandemic. Basically, people are walking away from deals. And I did a live earlier this week about that. You can check that out on my channel too. And basically, you're seeing people kill their deal before they get to the closing table. You know, a lot of times it could be the financing. It could be the fact that they look at the payment and go, wow, that's higher than I thought. I can't do that. Like, it's shocking how many people get to the closing table without looking at the payment, or get really close to the closing table without looking at the payment. Like, that should happen way before you get to the closing table, before you even step foot in a house, before you even look at a house on Zillow or the MLS or contact a realtor. You can simply just go to a mortgage calculator online and in a few seconds, like, find out how much a payment roughly is going to cost you. Like, you shouldn't get to the closing table and realize the payment's too high for you. That should be figured out like step 0.5 in the process out of 1,000 steps. But the tide is starting to turn for buyers. Home sale prices are already falling in 11 of the 50 most populous U.S. metros. The biggest declines are in Oakland, Dallas, and Jacksonville. And Redfin economists expect the median U.S. sale price to fall by the end of 2025. Combined with the fact that wages are forecast to continue rising, that means home buying affordability should improve the second half of the year. So 2 questions for you there. One, or 2 things, I guess. One thing is, I mean, are you shocked? Because I am. I'm shocked that Redfin is already admitting or predicting that home prices are going to fall year over year. Like, I'm just surprised that they're admitting that. Usually they don't. Usually they're like, home prices are going to keep going up forever. And there are a lot of people on YouTube, if you watch a lot of real estate YouTube, you know who they are, that are like constantly saying that the median sale price is going to fall year over year. And they've been saying it now for, like, I don't know, years, right? But it hasn't happened. But maybe it will this year. And then they can celebrate and go, hey, it's down like year over year. Now what, right? Now we got to go buy something actually. Uh-oh. Huh. But it's the market changes, folks. There's a cycle to everything. So can't be surprised. Additionally, home buyers have more options and more negotiating power. New listings are up 3.9% year over year, and the total number of homes for sale is up 11.9%. Not that much, actually. Because there are more sellers than buyers in the market, buyers in many parts of the country are able to successfully negotiate prices down and get concessions. If you're out there buying right now, unless the home is priced like way under the median price for the area, even at that, like, there's nothing wrong with making a lower price, a lower offer. There's nothing wrong with making a lower offer. I call it a disrespectful offer. Make a disrespectful offer. Make multiple disrespectful offers. You know, if you're not married to the house, if you're not like, I have to find a house in the next 15 days or 30 days, like if you put your house on the market and you're selling your house and you're like, well, I'm selling my house now, I got to have a place to live, and you don't want to rent or move twice, then sometimes you don't have time to negotiate. But if you have time to negotiate, ask for things. Sellers are realizing we're in a new market, which is making them flexible, said Venus Martinez, a Redfin premier agent in La La Land. A lot of sellers, especially those who may have bought at the top of the market and need to sell, holy Toledo. A round of applause for Redfin. Need to sell, they say it. Are willing to accept less money for their homes, give concessions to buyers, and even negotiate commissions. Buyers are more likely to be able to negotiate if a home has been on the market for more than a few weeks or if it has fallen out of contract. Wow. The fact that they actually, a Redfin agent actually used the word need, or the term need to sell, that to me is an indicator. They must be running into people that need to sell, not want to sell. Big difference. Up until, well, we still are for the most part. you're seeing people who want to sell. I get comment after comment on my channel about people, people are upset because they're like, hey, these greedy landlords have these houses that are just sitting on the market with no renter and they haven't reduced the price. Or these people with second homes, or even the people with primary homes are like, a lot of y'all are upset that they haven't lowered the price. Those are want to sell people, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, doesn't really matter. What matters is reality. Reality is if you're not seeing someone reduce a price to a point at which it sells, it means they do not need to sell, at least not yet. They could need to sell in the future. But if you're not seeing people discount to the point that they are like, that a buyer steps in, must not need to sell that bad. So you'll either see one of two things if people need to sell. Prices get lower on the house to a point at which somebody buys it. Like, let's pretend it's 200 grand and you're like, that's too much. Well, that's kind of unrealistic because most people would be like, yeah, that's a good price. We'll jump it up. Let's pretend the house is $850,000 and you're in Southern California and you're like, man, that $850,000 townhome, way too expensive. And it just sits there for 6 months. And the price, they cut the price 2 or 3 times and now instead of $850, it's $835. Still too expensive. That person must not need to sell. However, if at some point they decide, oh, I need to sell, you'll see that price go to $790, $750, $725. And eventually then they need to sell, and that's reflected in the price. Or the other thing you'll see is a short sale. In other words, if they need to sell and they can't hold on to the house anymore, you will see then it go into a short sale or a foreclosure if they just don't stop paying the mortgage, unless it's a forbearance, and we all know what's going on there. So that's what you got to watch for. Need to sell. Anyway, pretty awesome that Redfin admitted need to sell. They're probably listening to Mike Zuber or the housing nerd. Probably not. Daily. All right. So now we're going to look at the mortgage activity, home buying demand and activity. Sorry. These are kind of the leading indicators. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.98%. This thing's been incredibly sticky, stubborn, stodgy, right? Let me look at Mortgage News Daily and see where we are. Mortgage News Daily, 6.97 today, down 0.01%. This mortgage rate has fluctuated between like 6.5, well, that's actually the bottom range, it feels like, and what, 7.2, 7.02. There's going to be a lot of monkey business, tomfoolery, hijinks, trickery, whatever you want to call it, to try to get this mortgage rate lower. Meaning, I think you're going to see this summer major swings with mortgage rates because the administration wants them lower. They just do, right? They want them lower because they know that home buyers will come back to the market regardless of home prices. If payments get low enough, they'll come back. That's how people buy homes. I'm not saying that's what you should do or what I do, but most people want lower prices, or a lot of people want lower prices. But unfortunately, most consumers buy on payment. So, but comment and tell me, do you buy on payment or do you buy on price? As an investor, sometimes the payment makes more sense, regardless of the price. Depends on the deal. But yeah, you've got mortgage rates are just kind of range bound. I think you're going to see some definite trickery going on, trying to get that 10-year lower. Like they've discussed a shadow Fed president or Fed chairman, not a Fed president, Fed chairman, right? They've discussed a shadow Federal Reserve. I can't even say it without laughing. Like basically like bringing someone in who's going to be the next Fed chairman, and that person's going to go on like some media tour or go on Twitter and say, when I get into the seat, I'm going to lower prices. And I guess or I'm going to lower rates. And theoretically, the idea is that then the 10-year comes down, right, from that. I just can't stop like smiling about that shadow Fed chairman. It just sounds funny. And then the other thing I think they're going to do is you think about that. The other thing, the problem that's coming with mortgage rates is that Fannie and Freddie may come out of conservatorship. Well, right now, they have an explicit guarantee because they're in conservatorship with the U.S. government. So there's an explicit guarantee from lenders that the U.S. government has their back. According to what I'm seeing on Twitter from the administration, it looks like they're going to leave an implicit guarantee, not explicit guarantee, for backing up Fannie and Freddie. But when they leave conservatorship, rates could go up. Like there could be more risk built into that spread between where banks can borrow at and where they lend money to you at. And that spread increases, rates could go to 8%. It's possible. And that's not what the administration wants. Administration wants lower rates, enough to get buyers back into the market. If rates go to 8%, the market's going to completely lock up again. It'll completely lock up. So comment below, tell me, do you think Fannie and Freddie coming out of conservatorship is going to lower rates or increase rates? I think it's going to increase rates unless something artificial is injected into the market, which, by the way, is very probable. Don't be shocked at what you see coming with mortgage rates. Like the administration could potentially spend the next 3 years fighting the 10-year treasury to get it lower. I mean, unless a Fed chairman comes in and lowers rates to 0 again, which is very possible too, just to spur growth. Right now, is that the right way to spur growth? Probably not. But that's not the concern of the administration, right? They just want rates lower now. They want them now. You can actually hear them fidget with because rates are too high. All right, that's my soapbox thing on rates. All right, let's look at mortgage purchase applications. They are up 3% from a week earlier. That's it, just 3%, but they're up 18% from a year ago. Purchase applications. Doesn't mean people are buying a home, but they're applying for a mortgage. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index up 0.7 points from a month earlier, up 7% from last year. I'm a little busier than I was last year. There's a little more activity in Ohio, but not that much more. And demand is still down nationwide. I mean, pending sales are. Touring activity up 23% from the start of the year. At this time of the year, it was up 17%. So I guess it's up 6% year over year. How many people are seeing homes? Google searches for homes. How many people are searching for homes? Up 8% from a month earlier, unchanged from last year. I'm just checking some comments. All right, now we'll look at key housing market data. And this is for the top 400 metros only. Let me run through this, then I'll jump into the comments and see what y'all are talking about. So just the top 400 metros, this looks at like the top line items, like what's going on with prices and inventory. Some interesting stuff in here. Definitely you should pay attention to this. Well, some of it. Some of it's just entertainment and fodder. Median sale price, $394,375, still up 1.9% year over year. But Redfin economists are saying it's going to drop this year. Zillow has already said that prices over the next 12 months will drop, not by much, only 0.7%. Not a huge drop. Not going to really make a hill of bean difference when you're looking at the overall price of homes, right? Median asking price, $426,504. That's up 5.1%. People continue to either list more expensive homes or they're just not realistic with their prices yet. Probably a mix of both. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,860 at 6.86%. That's up 3.6% year over year, $25 shy of the all-time high. I'm sure if you're out buying a house right now, you're like, wow, I saved 25 bucks a month. Pending sales, 88,914. That's down 1.7% year over year. I don't remember a week so far this year where pending sales have been higher than last year. It's down year over year. So while 18% more people are applying for mortgages, they must not be getting them approved, or they must not be pulling the trigger on a home because people aren't buying, and the pending sales aren't showing it. New listings. This is the warning sign I mentioned earlier, folks. This is a big red flashing signal for you. This is where, and I would look at pending sales, new listings, active listings in your local market. If you really want to understand what's happening with the housing market, look at it. You can look at it on a metro basis. You can look at it on a county basis, but it's much better to look at it on a school district basis, a subdivision basis, a neighborhood basis, however you want to do it to get as local as possible. Look at pending sales, new listings, and active listings. That'll kind of tell you what's happening. Well, new listings, unfortunately, if you're hoping for more inventory, are only up 3.9%. So this will skyrocket when you finally see people who need to sell, not want to sell. So in your market, if you look at this metric and go, hey, there's a bunch more people listing their home than there were this time last year, or this time last month. If you see new listings, the percent keep going up, or the number of new listings keep rising, that's a good sign. And if it goes up quick, that's a sign that a bunch of people are pulling the alarm and saying, I got to sell. People who need to sell do not keep their home off market. They don't do like a shadow inventory. Maybe that shadow Fed chairman is going to buy the shadow inventory. I love that term. It's just comical. So new listings, that's like one of the keys to the housing market data. Only 104,000 new listings, only up 3.9%. Not very much. Not very much at all. Active listings, this is it's up 12%. Smallest increase in a year, but it's not up very much. Just barely over 1 million listings. This is like sideways right now. People just are still not listing their home for sale, generally speaking. Months of supply, 4, up 0.7 points. That's not impressive either. A lot of that inventory just is bad inventory. Overpriced still. Wish pricing. Sellers have a lot of wish pricing. I wish my home would sell for this. It doesn't. Oh, well, I take it off the market. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, 39.9%, down from 43%. So there are fewer homes selling faster. Median days on market, 36, up 4 days, but that's not that impressive either. Like, if there was a lot of pain in the market right now, that number would be like 50, 60. Share of homes sold above list price, 28.3, down from 31%. There are still 28% of folks paying more than list price for the house. Now, sometimes that's because they build in incentives, right? Like $3,000 off closing costs. So if the home is listed at $500,000, the offer is $503,000 and they ask for $3,000 in closing costs. That happens sometimes. Average sale to list price ratio, 99.1%, down from 99.4. So people are getting about a 1% average discount on a home on average. And that's the final list price, not the original list price. Big difference. Okay. Before we go, so that was kind of the national look. Now I'll go into the metros. I'm going to look at the best and worst metros really quick. And then we'll look at the individual cities. We'll take that deep dive into the metros that you have requested. And if you have one, put it in the comments below. But let me go ahead and get to some comments and see what's going on in the comments. Hey, what's up? Good morning, nerd friends. Hey, Roman. Stack Book Bitcoin Show. Bitcoin person. Cool. Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, Steve? How you doing? Steve is a great mortgage. I don't know what to call you. Loan officer, mortgage broker, mortgage professional, and he has a lot of different programs, not only for owner occupants but for investors. So, at some point, I'm going to call Steve for a refi. But I'm being stubborn. I'm being stubborn. Like I'm waiting. Part of me, I admit it. Part of me is waiting for rates to come down. Steve's probably going to tell me it's not going to happen. They could go up. I mean, if Fannie and Freddie come out of that conservatorship, they could go up and I'd be hosed. But good morning there, Steve. Jason G, what's up with your RS7? Good morning. Do you have an X account? Would you like to follow? Would like to follow. Oh, I don't have one. I have one, but I barely ever post on there. I've kind of put all my focus into YouTube, as you can tell. So maybe someday, but right now I don't have one. But thanks for the encouragement. Good morning. How are you, Tam Tam? I was homeless. Be careful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did I say anything about homeless people? I don't think I did. Sold my home, nowhere to go. Real estate agent in Toledo, failed key realtor. What? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that stinks. You had a bad experience with the realtor. Real estate agents scare me. I have no trust. That's too bad. You should, I'm not saying you have to trust them, but interview several of them, at least 5, and then go with your gut. If you don't trust somebody, call their referrals. Look on Google, look at their reviews. Look at the bad reviews. Should you make a disrespectful offer when there are multiple bids on a home? I mean, you can, but the chance of getting it accepted are low. So this is where, like, you kind of have to play the odds, right? Like, if there's already multiple offers, it's probably not going to, why would they accept a disrespectful offer, right? Like, if you put yourself in the seller situation. So you can, there's no law against it. It's probably a waste of time, though. Looking for sale by owner as I did in the 80s. Good for you. For sale by owner. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Don't come to Omaha, Nebraska. We are getting crushed by property taxes and insurance the last 8 years. $145,000 increased price, which increases $3K in property. Property taxes are off the hook. And stay tuned. There's a video I have coming out. Probably today's Friday. It'll probably be Sunday, maybe tomorrow, where I interview the person who's responsible for property tax reform in Ohio. And it may be on the November ballot. So we may have a ballot initiative in Ohio, or it may be on the ballot to remove property tax, not just for homeowners, but for investors, commercial, everybody. How are they going to make up that money? Not sure, but it's going to be interesting. They're collecting signatures right now. Good morning. How are you doing? Thanks for keeping us updated. Mainstream media is finally catching up on the news you all have been saying for months, if not years. Yeah, they're starting to, right? They are. But they'll always be behind. Our Talis, what's happening? We'll see. Will we see 4 to 5% mortgage rates next year? I guess it depends on how much monkey business is injected by the administration. If they just let the markets go the way they are right now, no, I don't think so. If they just leave well enough alone and stop intervening, having an intervening, then I think mortgage rates will stay high. And I think you'll see prices continue to soften. Not some areas may correct. Will some areas crash? I don't know. But you'll see mortgage rates remain higher for longer. If the administration gets involved and does something goofy, then they will probably fall. Will they be 4%? Man, if there's a 5 handle on that rate, boy, I think you're going to see prices go back up. If there's a 4 handle, look out. 3K in annual extra cost is crushing you. Bro, that's not a lot. Oh. Well, it depends on who you are, man. We won't see sub 5.75 rates for the next of the decade unless there's a major war or pandemic. I don't know. I think the administration wants rates to be much lower. Bro, the market's locked up now with rates at 6.75, 7.25. Yeah, it is kind of still locked up, right? It is loosening in some areas. We'll go over that today when we look at the metros. I don't understand how lowering rates is going to help with anything. The economy is this uncertain. No one wants to invest with tariffs on the horizon when people can't buy houses. Well, so the theory is that lower rates are going to free up the economy because you're going to have more borrowing, right? And more spending. So consumers buy on payment, MB. They just do. So if I'm working with a first-time home buyer, let's say, or a repeat home buyer, but we'll use first-time home buyer as the example, and they're like, hey, I can't afford that payment. Remember, they're buying on payment. So they go to a house that's $200,000 in Ohio. That's like the coveted mark right now. If you can find a house at $200,000 or below that's move-in ready, that'll pass FHA, VA, USDA loans, then that's like a rare thing to have in Ohio. So if that payment is $2,500 right now, and all of a sudden the payment is $2,200, that makes a lot of people think, oh, I can afford it now, I'm going to buy it. Even if they qualified at $2,500, it may be too much for them in reality, but now the payment's $300 less because of the lower rates. Oh, I'll buy it. And that makes prices go up. But does that make sense to do for the long term of the market or the economy? Probably not, unless it's natural, unless the rates naturally fall for some reason. But if it's artificially changed, probably not good. But we don't control that, unfortunately. Mortgage rate's going to go up in Section 899 is passed. If Section 899 is passed, yeah, they could go up. Section 899 raises taxes on foreign investing in U.S. markets, which includes treasuries, which means treasury rates go up. Yeah, anything could happen there. Again, I just look at the headlines from, or I look at what's coming out of the mouths of the people in charge. It seems like they want lower rates, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to get them, including a shadow Fed chairman. The Fed Reserve is using contractors to work with people that are in default. Fed Reserve is paying $300 to $400 million a month to stay off a housing bubble. People that are in default, using contractors to work with people that are in default. I'm not sure what you mean there. Not exactly sure, but it just sounds like more monkey business to me. Anything happening in Las Vegas? I'm still waiting to buy. Let me add it to the list. Let me add that to the list. Sorry for the delay here, but I got to add it. Vegas. All right, I'm back. Let's do it. I'll do that in a minute. What's up, Jay? Why would you refi and reset your amortization with rates where they are? Well, it's rental properties. So this may sound crazy, but like the amortization schedule doesn't really bother me on a rental. It just doesn't. So what I'll probably do is just refi to pull the cash out that I invested in the property, and then use that cash to fix up another one or buy another one. That's just how I do it. El Paso. Gotcha. All right, we'll do it. I never looked at El Paso. Thanks for that suggestion. Tam, feel sorry for Vegas. No one gonna want to gamble. Yeah, I've heard tourism there is off big time. That place, I went last year to Vegas for vacation to visit some family who live, they live near Vegas. I wouldn't typically take my family to Vegas for vacation, but the family lives near there. And two things I couldn't believe. One, how expensive it was to like go out to eat. Crazy expensive. And everything was expensive to do. The other thing I couldn't believe is how early things shut down. and very hard to find food after hours. And like like some of the rides, like on the Stratosphere and stuff, they close down at 9 p.m. Sylvania taxes are crazy. Yeah, maybe that relief's coming for you on property taxes. We'll find out. Property tax relief is another can-kinking measure. Well, usually it is, and maybe it still is in this case, but in Ohio, they're looking to abolish it, like get rid of it. Like it's going to be an amendment to the Constitution saying property taxes aren't allowed, period, in Ohio. So it's not even like relief or reform. It's straight out elimination. But they have to get the money somewhere for the police, the libraries, the firemen, the schools, obviously. So they're going to get it from us one way or another. It's not like they're going to go, oh, well, we won't fund anything anymore. Huh. Oh, thanks, Gary. Right. I got 121 people on right now. Hit the like button. Don't be a freeloader. Just hit the like button. What else we got? The only thing that will drop rates is a soul-crushing recession. That won't cause home prices to improve. That won't cause home prices to improve. I assume by improve you mean go up or go down. I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, like you would think, right? Like a recession will typically lower rates. Maybe, unless it's just kind of meanders along right now in stagflation where the economy is really not growing, rates continue to be high. That could continue if the market's left alone. But Tech Ninja, I just don't think they're going to leave the market alone. I mean, every time the market does what they don't want it to do, they do something to try to change the trajectory. Case in point, the tariffs and the stock market. Like, at some point, there was a phone call made by somebody to someone else saying, hey, you need to come out, man, and say that we need to craft some type of tweet response to get the stock market to come back to reality, to go back up, because the tariff language is killing us. Oh, okay. I'm going to pause tariffs. Woo, market goes back up. Like, that probably wasn't the original strategy, but it was a pivot because they were like, oh, we don't want the stock market to go down. How many people do you think badger them about the stock market and interest rates? Tons. They probably get, pulled aside at every function that they go to with some billionaire who pulls them aside with his martini. Do they drink martinis anymore? Whatever. Heineken. Are they that cheesy? Probably. And they're like, hey, man, you got to lower rates, dude. Like, I'm getting crushed. You got to get this market back to where we're going. I got to make some more money. Okay, I'll come out with a tweet. That's just how it works. Okay, thanks for your comments so far. All right, let's get back to reality here. Oops, let me take this off. All right. Metros with the biggest year-over-year increases: Philly, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Miami, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Folks, Pittsburgh, PA is this microphone's bothering me. Pittsburgh, PA is like, it may be the, instead of the iron, the iron curtain, right? It's more like the iron housing market, or the steel curtain. Sorry, I'm a Steelers fan and I messed that up. Instead of the steel curtain, it could be the steel housing market. Back in the GFC, Pittsburgh went up 5%. If you look at like 2007 through like 2012, it went up 5%. Now it's up 10% year over year. Pittsburgh's ridiculous. Just kind of a market that flies in the face of conventional wisdom. Detroit's always off the hook. Philly, it's in the east, it's going to be off the hook. Miami, people with cash keep buying there. And New Brunswick, New Jersey, the Northeast is crazy. Oakland, Dallas, Jacksonville, Austin, Seattle, Tampa, Denver, Atlanta, Houston, Indianapolis, and Anaheim. The one that stands out, folks, right here, I said at the beginning of my live, Indianapolis. Indianapolis being down 0.3%. To me, that's like, wow, a Midwestern city that's down. That's definitely an outlier when you look at the list. Pending sales, where they're up the most: Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Montgomery County, PA, Chicago, and Austin. So Indy has pending sales up, and Cincinnati does. Those are Midwestern areas. Chicago has more pending sales than last year, and Austin does too. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Vegas, San Jose, and Los Angeles all down with pending sales the most. New listings, Seattle, Houston, Washington, Boston, Nashville are all up year over year. Orlando, Tampa, Los Angeles, Fort Lauderdale, San Antonio, all down the most year over year in new listings. So like, what's really strange about this is look at the fact that Tampa's on here, Orlando's on here, Fort Lauderdale's on here. If there was serious pain in Florida, you wouldn't see that. You would see more and more new listings. But you're seeing less or fewer new listings compared to last year. That tells me that the pain's not there yet. At least not the way people want it to be, right? I'm not saying there's not inventory there. I'm not saying you can't find a deal there. I'm just saying, like, if there was serious problems in the housing market in Florida, you would see those new listings continue to go up. People who need to sell are going to sell. They're not just going to sit on their house. All right, so now let's go to the data center and get with this. All right, so now here is the data center, and I'm going to start with Columbus because everybody always wants to know about Columbus. By the way, I do have a new Housing Nerd Ohio channel only. I only have one video. I did a live a few nights ago. There wasn't one person on my live, which is no big deal because nobody knows about it yet. But very odd from going from 100 people on to then the next day, I'm like, wow, there's no one on. So I do have an Ohio only channel that you can tune into if you want to find out more about the Ohio housing market. But we'll buzz through Ohio real quick. New listings up 8%. I'm sorry, up 0.8%. That's it. See, this is like an example where there's just not enough need to sell people in Columbus. They're all just on the sidelines like, nah, I'm not going to move this year. I'm just going to leave my house, as is. Not a lot of institutional investors need to sell in Columbus, obviously. Not a lot of investors need to sell, obviously. Otherwise, you'd see new listings up a lot more than 0.8%. All right, let's do pending sales in Columbus. Down 2.1%. The Ohio market, or look, the Columbus market anyway, is just locked up, man. Not a lot of people buying, not a lot of people selling. We're kind of back in that trough, which is fine. We could be in this trough for, or this channel, if you want to call it a Keltner channel. We could be in this channel for like 2 years, unless some monkey business is started with rates. Active listings, what are they doing in Columbus? You see this okay? Let me make sure. Yeah, you can see it. 15% up. And it's kind of just, it is going up right now, but I'm going to look for that to probably level off because new listings aren't going up anymore. Yeah, look at the rate of change with active inventory. We were up 21% at one point. Let me see if I can zoom in. This probably helps, right? Yeah. So you can look and see like this is the rate of change. This up here is the number. So you can see we're at 4,700 active listings, then 5,000 active listings, 5,500 active listings, 5,800 active listings. But then this is the rate of change down here, which shows what's the change year over year. It's not tracking the number necessarily. And at one point we got to 21% more than last year. But now, if you look at it, we're only up 15%. So that rate of change is dropping. Median sale price, let's do that. We're climbing to almost a record high in Columbus. 342, up 2.85%. No crash in Columbus, Ohio yet. And it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon. Just not enough inventory. Just not enough. There's 88 counties in Ohio. Only 3 counties have a year-over-year price decline. Only 3 counties out of 88. So the majority of Ohio is up year-over-year. Okay, let's do the next metro. Cleveland. Believeland. New listings up 5.4%. Really not going to amount to much when it comes to what they need. They just need a lot more inventory. Pending sales, 0.8%. I guess it's somewhat of a buyer's market in a way because there's more new listings, fewer pending sales, but that's probably really not the truth. In reality, it's probably more of a seller's market. Still, there's just probably not a lot of good listings. Yeah, look at this. I mean, it's only up 6% in active listings in Cleveland. Just not a lot out there. And I'm sure if you're in Cleveland, you feel that. All right, let's do Cincinnati next. Whoops. I forgot to do median sale price in Cleveland. Median sale price, Cleveland, Ohio. What do we got? $245,000. Most people looking at this would be like, 245,000. I'll take 3. But for the locals, that's a lot. Up 5.7% year over year. It's almost at an all-time high. It's approaching it. The all-time high was 247. We're right there. Cleveland's just relentlessly continues to move higher. Cincinnati, what do we got? New listings in Cincinnati. 3% up year over year. That's it. That's it. That's all. So the surge of the flood of listings, the surge of listings that we usually get in the spring, or as you know, as we approach summer, not here. Pending sales. Yeah, look at this. Pending sales in Cincinnati up 6.9%. So I wonder what happened with new listings earlier. Yeah, so look at new listings. At the beginning of the year in Cincinnati, new listings were, 432, 494, 532. It kept climbing fast, and I'm guessing that's why we see some pending sales climbing now, because people are like, oh, there's inventory. I can go out there and buy something finally. That's a sign that, hey, maybe the housing market's getting better in Cincinnati as far as health. But let's look at active listings. Yeah, so active listings was going up at a decent pace, but then it leveled off. Why? Because now there's people buying those homes. So like that's a sign that there's demand, even at the rates we're at, even at the prices we're at. In Cincinnati and other places like, there are going to be other markets like this we're going to look at today. That's a sign that people still want to buy a home. If they didn't, then you would see the active listing count continue to go up. And again, that's what you got to pay attention to in your local market. And be realistic. Don't be overly optimistic. Don't have reckless enthusiasm with a housing market crash. Like, look at your market practically and go, all right, in the price point I want to buy in the type of home I want to buy in, are the number of active units going up or are they going down? Don't just like look at the ones on your street and say, oh, there's a few more sale signs, or hey, I've seen some more for sale signs. It must be there's more inventory. Look at the data. Get with the realtor if you have to. Most realtors should be able to provide this for free and easily. Number of active listings in the subdivision or the neighborhood, the school district, the county, however you want to look at it, in your price point and the type of house you want to buy. How many are for sale right now? And look at that trend over the go back 10 years. If you get with a realtor, they have MLS access going back, some of them go back decades. Have them pull it historically. Tell them you want to see it for the past 20 years. And they'll send it to you and look, and then be practical with it and go, is that number going up or going down? If it's like this, where it's like, oh, active listings were going up, now they're kind of leveling off, the chances of getting a deal, probably slimmer. Doesn't mean you won't get one. It just means it's not as easy to find one. Median sale price in Cincinnati. Look at this. That's a record high. A record high for Cincinnati. All-time record, $311,000, up 4.8%. Does that look like a housing crash? Obviously not. Wow. People continue to buy in Cincinnati. Imagine if rates get lower. Look out. If they eliminate property taxes, that would also, I think, raise home prices, unfortunately, because buyers will be able to afford more payment. That means they can buy a higher priced home. Does that make sense? I mean, that money has to come from somewhere, right? So they're going to get squeezed in property tax or income tax. So does that necessarily make sense? No, but a lot of things in the housing market don't make sense. All right, that's Ohio. Let me do our next request. All right, I got a bunch on here. I'm going to kind of jump around. I did have somebody request. Let me look. All right, New York City. New York, New York. New listings in New York City. Let me shrink this just a little. Oops, let me just shrink this a little. Okay. New listings, New York City. What do we got? 1,837, up 2.4% year over year. It was going up at a nice pace. Now it's not. Now it's not. Pending sales, what are those doing? Wow, those are down 7.7%. Doesn't seem like anybody's buying a home in New York City or the New York market. Let me do active listings. 22,840, up a whopping, a staggering 1%. 1%. That, I mean, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see I wouldn't imagine you're going to see a huge price decline at that. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, look at this. Median sale price in New York metro area, 787, up 5.6% year over year. I mean, it's almost, is that an all-time high? It is, right? No, close, really close. All-time high is 790 in New York City. Now, 787. So would it hit an all-time high? Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like active inventory is going up at a pace to make, to create some type of softness in prices. And it's been way elevated all year. Look at this. At one point, they were up 10%, but it hasn't even come close to touching last year's price. So, like, if you were last year, if you were in the housing market last year and going, I should wait to buy a home in New York City, and this is the median price, by the way. It's not every borough, it's not every block is going to be like this. But you can see prices just continue to be higher than the previous year. 24 continued to be higher than 23, and it ended at 740. Then it started this year at 744, and now it's 787. So prices have just continued to go up and up and up there. And when active inventory is only up 1%, what do you expect? Okay, that's New York. Next is Los Angeles. Doing some big metros now. And I'll do small ones too. I don't mind. I'll look at any metro you want, any county you want too. If you have a county you want me to look at, put it in the chat and I'll get to it. Unless we get like a ton of them and they're in front of you, and I may have to be next time. New listings in Los Angeles, California. Yep. Wow. What? Down 9.4%. I mean, it's been sideways since what? February? I mean, you can't, it's ridiculous. There's just nobody listing homes there. Down 9%. Wow. All right, pending sales. That's down too. That's down 12%. Nobody buying, nobody selling. So if you requested Los Angeles or any of these metros, actually, tell me if you're seeing, if what I'm presenting here matches with what you're seeing. It may not. It may not. But maybe it does. And they just let us know. I'm curious. Yeah, pending sales are down a ton in LA. La La Land. All right, now active listings. What are those doing? Wow, look at active listings. This chart looks so goofy because of that 1 year. Look, down 7%. Active listings just off a ton. Look back last year. I mean, this is not a great sign if you're wanting lower prices in LA. I mean, at one point they were at 14,817 as far as the number of active listings last year, and now they're at 12,976. So like, unless this line goes up substantially because new listings rise, you're going to see active listings in LA continue to be a lot lower than last year. I can't believe that. All right, median sale price. What do you got? No surprise. It's not a record high, or is it? No, it's not, but it's getting dang close. $929,000, up 2% year over year. No crash there in LA. I'd love to see what the mainstream media is saying there in LA. Like, do they actually do the cliche thing of coming on the air and saying, the housing market's changing? It's definitely changing. The inventory's dropping and prices are going up. Or are they saying stuff like, oh, it's softening? I can't see how it's softening. But if you requested LA, I'd love to know. That's a major housing market. Huh. Surprising. Again, must not be a lot of pain. Must not be. But otherwise, you'd see a lot more activity. Okay, that's LA. Let me do, what's the next one I got here? Miami. Miami, Florida. New listings in Miami. Look at that. Down. Oh, okay. So up 3.6%. That's not down like LA, but shoot, not very good. Again, that's been trending down. Look at this. Been trending down, 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 down. Pending sales. Wow. 21% down year over year. Nobody buying there. Nobody. I would expect active inventory to be up somewhat, you'd think. Yeah, look at this. It's starting to head down now, but active inventory is now up 22%. And so, again, you can do this in your own market. Like if you look at pending sales being down the way they are, even though new listings are only up 3.6%, pending sales are in the toilet. So then you assume then that while there's not a ton of inventory being added, not a ton of inventory being added to the market because new listings are only up 3%, the ones that have been added aren't moving. And that's why active listings remain elevated compared to last year. But now they're starting to head down because new listings aren't impressive. So probably a lot of expensive homes are just sitting there not selling. All right, median sale price. Let's look at it. Wow, record high for Miami. It's almost been a record all year. $586,000, up 8%. Yowza. Okay. We can, and just because I maybe jump from Miami to DC, which I'm about to do next, you don't have to. You can still request another Florida, metro, and I'll go to it. Like, let me just look at Fort Lauderdale real quick. Somebody did request Fort Lauderdale, so I'll just knock it out now. Look at new listings in Fort Lauderdale, down 9.2%. And that's steadily gone down since the beginning of the year. It's odd to me that there's like, when I cover like a Zillow article, like I just did a video yesterday, a walk and talk about Zillow's market index, their heat map index. And that'll come out in the next few days. That, they say there's different, all these markets, they analyze them and say, hey, it's more of a buyer's market there. It's more of a neutral market. I appreciate that. But and I know that Florida is supposed to crash and burn, but I don't see how it can when new listings are down this much. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's really shocking. Well, I mean, pending sales down 16%, so maybe we would see some price relief there. So demand so low. What are active listings doing in Fort Lauderdale? Yeah, I mean, they're up. They've been up all year, but now they're starting to head down, unfortunately, because there's no new listings. Up 17%. What about median sale price? Well, look at this. Median sale price in Fort Lauderdale has not crashed, up 3% year over year. My assumption is, tell me what you think, but my assumption is that there are people still wanting to buy a home and ready to buy a home and able to buy a home in a place like Fort Lauderdale. If something comes on the market that's good, affordable, or in their price range, and is a house that doesn't need a ton of work, basically like a good listing, then people buy it. They're not just letting it sit. It's not like in 2008, people could not buy homes, right? People weren't buying homes, period. Even if they were like great homes, they weren't buying them. Now it's different. If there are good homes, people are buying them still in a lot of places. Even at the rates we're at now, the interest rates. This is like right now how you're seeing interest rates just be higher for longer right now. It's really showing the true nature of the housing market, you know, in a way, like, hey, people are still buying homes. Maybe they're not buying the most expensive home on the block. Maybe they're not buying the first home they see, but if they see a house that fits their budget and they like, and it's affordable, they're buying it. But yeah, median sale price still up, approaching a record high in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 470 grand. Huh. Okay. I'm going to do DC next. Washington, DC, new listings. These are up 13%. And that's gone up all year. So there could be pain in DC. Could be. Let's see pending sales. Pending sales up slightly, 0.9%. And that's steadily gone up too. And I'm guessing that's because there's been more active inventory, more active listings, more selection. Yeah, look at this active inventory. Wow. You want to see a complete, just parabolic increase in active inventory? This is it. I mean, it's going up big time. Like at the beginning of the year, well, let's see. At the low point of the year, they had 8,200 listings. That was up 11%. And then 9,800, 10,800, 11,600, 12,400, 13,000. Yeah. Inventory there is just woo. Look, well, now let's see what's going on with median sale price. Well, but median sale price still going up, an all-time high in DC, $630,000. I would guess at some point, this is a guess, all these active listings in DC, somebody's going to start buying them and maybe drop that median sale price once the prices get low enough, right? Maybe they're not low enough. But I'm surprised to see that, but it's been a record high now a few weeks in a row. Now it's still a record high, $630,000, up 5% year over year. Okay, so no crash there yet. All right, what's the next one? Let's see, what do I got? Houston. Somebody wanted to see Houston. Houston, new listings, 14.9% up year over year. That's pretty good. That's a 4-year high by far. Is it? Let me look. 3,100, 3,142, 3,124. Yeah, so it looks like it's a 4-year high, not just this time of year, but a 4-year high in new listings. That helps a lot. Helps a lot with prices probably. Pending sales, wow, down 6.2%. That's a 4-year low for this time of year, not an all-time low for the last 4 years. Last year it got lower. Will we see that again? I don't know, maybe. Active listings in Houston, Texas. 17% up year over year. So what is median sale price doing? Well, median sale price is down less than 1%. I don't know. If you live in Houston, are you seeing a lot of good deals? Are you hearing about people getting deals? That's what that's what I would love. Maybe assigning the homework for you nerds. Talk to people, or maybe it's somebody you know that could jump on here on one of these lives and tell us how they got a good deal. I want to hear it. I think when we start seeing people get good deals, when you hear about it, when you're like, wow, like that home is a great home. It's not horribly overpriced. It's in a good area. It doesn't need a ton of work. And somebody got like $40,000 off where it was priced last year, or $50,000 off where it was priced last year. That's when you know the market's really changing. I want to hear about that. So far, I'm not hearing it. I'm still seeing like people negotiate and get kind of a discount, but not really. And that's what we need to see. Just down 1% in Houston, median sale price. Okay. All right. Let me see what else I got here. Some of y'all on here requested, let's see, San Jose. Let me do that next. San Jose, California, Silicon Valley. All right, oh, look at new listings in San Jose, down 6.8%. Huh. Again, must not be a lot of pain from the tech market out there. Pending sales, down 12%. People aren't buying, not selling. They're just kind of sitting out saying, I'll let this kind of marinate for a while until I figure out what I'm doing. By the way, got 122 people on right now. Thanks for joining us. Don't be a freeloader. Hit the like button. Active listings in San Jose up 13.8%. Okay. That's good. You want to see active listings up. And pending sales are down so much, even though new listings are down. I guess the active listings sitting there just aren't moving. Median sale price. Wow, a record high there. A record high in San Jose right now. $1,693,000. When you're used to looking at like 450,000, 350, 250. And then you see $1,693,000. It's like, man, it's a shocker. That's the median price in San Jose, a record high price. I mean, there's just no sign of a decline at all. Wow. Okay. Whoever requested San Jose, that's a tough market. And if you requested San Jose on here, are you buying there? Are you selling there? I'm always fascinated by people buying $1 million homes as like their primary home, or 1.6, or maybe you're buying a $2 million home. I mean, to me, that's like, wow, that's a lot of money. But to people in San Jose, that's like, starter home. Hard to believe. Okay, San Jose. What was next here? Boise. Somebody asked for Boise. Boise City, Idaho. New listings in Boise. Down 0.5% year over year. A lot of people thought Boise was going to crash. You know, were like, Boise is like the epicenter of the crash, but hard to do that when your new listings are down like that. Pending sales. 4% up year over year. Huh. So people are buying. You have more buyers, it looks like, than sellers right now, coming into the market. What's going on with active inventory? Ooh, hard to see that one. What do we got? Bah. Oh, come on, Jay. Ah. Oh, got it. Okay. 10.87% up for active. Oh, I'm sorry. 10.87% down for active listings. Hard to find a housing crash when you have fewer listings. Got no inventory, got no crash. Just how it is. Median sale price It's going back up. It's down 1%, 1.1%, $493,000. So this market, it's like maybe you already saw the crash in Boise. Is it possible you already saw the crash? Because you were at 546 back in 2022, and you're not even close to that number now. And it dropped off big time. Boise is one of those markets like Austin where the peak was like in 2022. And so have you already had your crash? Was all the excess like bought out of the system, I guess, or sold out of the system in 2022? I don't know. But the prices aren't going down like they were that year, that's for sure. But they have dropped since 2024, since last year. What happened with new listings? Let's go back and look at that. Yeah, look at new listings in 2022. See what I mean? Look at new listings. It's just like right straight up and peaked at 568. Now you're at 307, 358. So you had a lot more new listings back in 2022. And then let's look at active listings and see what happened. Yeah, look at active listings just skyrocket in 2022. That's why you saw prices come down. Again, this same just behavior, it's just how the markets function, supply and demand, right? That's all it is. There can be, like, you can want and wish and hope for layoffs, student loans, credit cards, auto loans, inflation. You can hope and wish for all those things to happen, but it just comes down to basics of economics, supply and demand. More supply, and if you have less demand, prices are probably going to come down, and they did. You can see it right here. I mean, this is a great example of it. We had a bunch of inventory in Boise City, and prices just plummeted. What happened to pending sales during that time? Yeah, pending sales, it did drop. So anyway, that's how they function. All right, that was Boise. What's next? I got Vegas. New listings in Las Vegas, Nevada. Up, they're up 5.6%. So definitely more homes hitting the street. What about pending sales? Wow, way down 13%. You have to assume that active inventory has gone up, right? Yeah, look at that. Active listings in Las Vegas is up. They're up 43%. More new listings, more new listings, fewer pending sales equals usually more active listings. Okay. Median sale price in Vegas. Oh no. Well, it's still up, but it's not going straight up anymore. $449,000, up 1.5%, right? They're calling it 2%. And here's the weird thing. Look at Vegas. It peaked again, just like Boise did, peaked in 2022 at $456,000, but it's getting awfully close to that number now. It's getting awfully close. I'm curious, if you requested Vegas, I'd like to know, are you seeing more active, like, good homes on the market? Homes that, like, you know, are priced around the median price or below the median price and are move-in ready, not necessarily new homes, but just resale homes or existing homes that are on the market and ready to be purchased? Or is it just overpriced inventory still and really big expensive homes? I'd like to know. All right, let me check the comments. It's been a little while. Okay, I got El Paso on the list. I'll do that in a minute. I don't care. Explicit X. I don't care about the rates. I want affordable prices. Yeah, I understand that. A lot of people on my channel say that, but I don't think that's the majority of consumers. I don't know what that's about. Come on, people, hit the like button. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Yes, hit the like button if you're on. Don't be a freeloader. All you gotta do is hit the like button. Pretty easy, right? What about Houston, Texas? Just did that one. Hopefully you saw that. Aledo, Texas, L Twins. West and South Fort Worth builders are holding a lot of inventory off MLS. I hate seeing new construction get drenched from storms and sit empty for 9 to 12 months. So again, it then that's not fun, right? I mean, well, we all know the problems with new construction. There's just a lot of problems out there with it. Um, so it's just like any other seller or owner. If they need to sell their inventory, they will put it everywhere to be sold. They're not going to keep it off the MLS if they need to sell it. If they don't need to sell it, they may keep it off the MLS. But my guess is builders have always done that. Builders have always kept inventory off the market. So I don't think this is any different now. So like, I know there are people that go around the country, look at new construction sites. They never look at existing. They only look at new construction for some reason. And they're like, look at all these vacant homes. See, it's fraud, greed, and corruption. And I'm like, well, my guess is these builders have been doing that for a long time. So like, if they do need to sell this inventory, they are going to put it everywhere. Because if you need to sell, you need to sell. If you don't need to sell, you just don't need to sell. So they obviously don't need to sell right now. I wonder if sudden property tax negation push is about floating house prices. Well, the people that are in charge of trying to get the property tax eliminated, they have zero skin in the game when it comes to like real estate. Like the lady that I interviewed, Beth, she's just a normal homeowner. Like she's just somebody who's on a, I don't know that she's on a fixed income, but she's just like a normal homeowner up in Cleveland who's like, I got my bill, my tax bill, and was like, this is way too much. Something has to be done about this. And then she just kind of got involved and went above and beyond. And she doesn't, I mean, she has nothing to do with real estate, so she doesn't care. But I think the elimination of property taxes will make prices go up in Ohio. That's my guess. Bro, do not encourage consumers to do deep research under the pretense of it's easy. Taking the time to pull that info and share it is valuable to good realtors because good realtors are busy. Under the pretense of it's easy. You mean easy for the realtor? I mean, I think it's pretty easy. It may take a little time, but it's easy. I guess I just don't want people calling a realtor to do it and a realtor say, well, I can't do that, or I don't have time for it, or I don't want to do that work. And then they just give up. My advice is if they call a realtor and the realtor is not willing to do that work, find a new realtor. I mean, if a realtor is so busy and big that they can't do that work, then they have a team around them that can. I don't have a team. It's just me, and I can do that work. Drummer guy, what's up, drummer guy? Can we look at Maryland, D.C.? I just did D.C. Keep getting told this area is recession proof. I don't believe it. I'm sure prices dropped here in 2008. I'm sure they did too. I don't know off the top of my head how much they dropped in 2008, but I just did DC. I hope that helped when I did that. Classic American, blaming anyone but themselves. Talking about me? I don't know. Oh, Oakland County, Michigan. Okay, and then I got here, Prince George County, Maryland. Yeah, I know exactly where that is. Prince George and what was the other one? Prince George and Oakland. County, Michigan. Okay. Sorry, I just got to type these notes. Otherwise, I won't remember. Toledo, Ohio. You should join us, or join me anyway, on my next Ohio only live on the Ohio Housing Nerd channel. And I'll do a bunch of videos on there coming up for just the Ohio market. I'm just looking for more. What about Mesa, Arizona? Okay. Mesa, AZ. I don't know if that's lumped into the Phoenix market or not. Maybe it is. Washington State zip code 99156. I can't look up a zip code on Redfin, not in this format. So you need to give me a county. But I'm happy to look at it. Chicago, yeah, I will. I'll look at Chicago. J Ride Flips. Oh, sweet. Do you flip cars or you flip homes? I'll look at that one. Salt Lake. All right. Google tech firm to office pushing those San Jose market prices. Maybe, yeah. Ohio sales up. Depends on the market. So like in Cincinnati, they're up. But in Columbus, they're down. Carmel, Indiana. I don't think I have that one. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think that's too local. I think it falls under Indianapolis. If I could do that. Oh, yeah, I got Colorado Springs on my list. Right? I think I put it on the list. I saw you ask for that in a comment earlier in the week. By the way, I'm doing my best to respond to all the comments on my channel, but I mean, it's getting challenging. It was easy when there were like 4. Now there's like hundreds. So I'm like, oh boy. Dave and Tess in the Pacific Northwest. Can you do Anacortes, Washington? Huh. Okay, yeah. Let me check that one. Yeah, I've never done that one before. I know exactly where that is. I used to go up there all the time to call on customers. A lot of refineries up there. At least there used to be. All right, let me keep going. Every house is 1 million in Boise. Only a doctor, a lawyer, or CEO can live there. Yeah, Boise's expensive. The mountain states are expensive, like Wyoming, Salt Lake, Boise. A lot more expensive than I would ever think. Don't let that like button crash. Right. Keep pressing it. Sorry, I'm just reading these. Realtors are the one pushing prices to buy, pushing prices up, by the way. So a lot of people think this. Maybe there are realtors that do this. I don't know how they do it exactly, but like, well, I guess they could do it if they tell the client that they should list the home for more than the client wants to. But generally speaking, clients want to list the home more than I want to list the home, or more than I suggest. And I never suggest an actual price. I give them comps. We talk about the market, and then we talk about a price range. But like many times the client wants to go above where I think it should go. A lot of times. Sometimes not. But I don't know. I don't think it's, I can see why you think that though. I can't. But I think it's consumers wanting to sell their house for as much as possible. People want to sell their house for as much as possible. That's why the whole NAR lawsuit thing isn't going to lower home prices. The notion that was going to lower home prices is nuts, because sellers are not going to give away profit. They want to sell their home for them as much as possible because it's their property. And so they're like, well, why would I give you a discount if you're going to pay your own realtor? I'm just going to sell it for more. I'm just going to pocket more money as the seller. So that's what I think anyway. But I understand why you think that. Bristol County, Massachusetts. I've got that one on the list. Okay, back to the data. Let's see. So I got to go back and look at my list. Colorado Springs. What? What county is Colorado Springs in? I need to know that. El Paso County is what I'm pulling up. So let me go to county level and look at that. El Paso County, Colorado. That's where Colorado Springs is, according to the research I just did. Okay. New listings. 363 new listings, up 0.5% year over year. That's it. Not a lot of new listings at all. Pending sales, what's up with that? Wow. All of a sudden, people started buying. Up 50% year over year. Jeez. Like a bunch of people just bought homes there, it looks like. Active inventory. $3,600, up 22%. Okay. So definitely more inventory. A lot more people buying. Maybe they're buying because all of a sudden there's active inventory. So they're like, I want to buy. Median sale price. 3% up year over year, $478,000. You peaked last year at $493,000. So while prices are just barely up this year, it doesn't look like a crash. Obviously, I mean, you know, I don't have to tell anybody that when you look at the data. Even though active listings, let me go back to active listings. Even those are up 22%. Pending sales, it looks like, are keeping up. Like last week, pending sales were up 88.4%. Before that, they were up 12%. So more people buying because there's probably more inventory. And that's probably keeping home prices sticky. Could be people buying expensive homes too. But inventory there, so it looks like you have more homes for sale, so probably more choices, but I don't think you're going to see a relief in prices necessarily. That doesn't stop you. That shouldn't stop you from making a disrespectful offer, but just be logical about it and make it on houses that you think you can actually win it on, right? Like if there's multiple offers on a home, probably not a great time to make a disrespectful offer. If the house has been on the market 3 days, probably not a great time. If the house has been on the market 60 days, and the days on market are normally 5 days, 10 days, 15, 20 days, and it's been on the market 60 days, that would make sense. And they've had multiple price drops, or the home is like trash, definitely make a disrespectful offer. When you walk into a home, if it stinks, like if it smells from like cigarettes, dog, you know, just nastiness, that to me means discount, because nobody wants a home that stinks. So if it's sitting on the market and it hasn't sold and it stinks, that's when I make you definitely make a disrespectful offer. Because you got to build in the money in order to make it not stink, right? Yeah, building some room there. All right, let's do the next one. Let's do Chicago. Whoops. Chicago, Illinois. What do we got? New listings in Chicago. I got about 20 more minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes, and then I got to take off. Got to go close a deal. New listings in Chicago up 7%. Huh. So they have some more activity, more listings. That's good. They need that. Pending sales, what are those doing? Those are up 4.2%. So some people buying, some people listing. But Chicago's been a tough market with inventory. How's that doing? Yeah, look at this. Active inventory down 3.2%. It's a 4-year low for this time of year. That's not great if you're looking for price discounts. How's it doing? How's pricing doing? Yeah, look at this in Chicago. Man, 373, up 4.4% year over year. Is that an all-time high? No, but it's $1,000 away from tying the all-time record. It could happen this summer. You could see this number creep above 2024 and be an all-time record high in Chicago. Chicago's tough. Very tough market for buyers. Probably hard to find a deal. Not impossible, probably, but but challenging. Okay, that's Chicago. Let's do. Okay, El Paso. Whoops. We did El Paso County, Colorado. That was Colorado Springs, but now we're doing El Paso, Texas. Never looked at El Paso. Down 3.3% with new listings. Pending sales. Wow. Down this time of year, 4-year low. Down 8.4%. Okay. Active listings. Up 5.69%. Just not a lot of selling activity there. Not a lot of buying either. Yeah, and no surprise. Home prices are down 2% year over year to $261,000 for the median price, but it doesn't seem like it's crashing. It doesn't seem like, it looks like it's kind of just meandering along sideways, probably because there's not a whole lot of active inventory out there. But that's El Paso, Texas. Let me see if I can do. Yeah, I'm interested in this one. Prince George County, Maryland. Prince George's County, Maryland. Now, wait a minute. Okay, I got confused for a second. There's a Prince George County, Virginia as well, but this is Prince George's County. I assume this is the right one, the one you want. New listings. Down 7.6%. When someone said it was recession proof, I think that was your comment. People were like, oh, that market's recession proof. If it is, or I don't know if it is or not, probably no market's recession proof, but like there's just not a lot of new listings. It doesn't look like, just not. Pending sales, but pending sales are low, down 6%. People are not buying there, but they're not really selling either. So let's see. How about active inventory? You got any relief there? You did for a while, but now you're only up 4%. I mean, it went straight up. Maybe people panicked when like Doge came in, right? You don't hear much about that anymore. But nevertheless, like maybe people freaked out when they were like, we're going to fire everybody. And people were like, all right, I got to list my home. Maybe that's what happened, because now it's kind of leveled off. And now what's up with median sale price? Still higher than last year, up 1% year over year. And it's just gone sideways. It did go down. I mean, kind of interesting, right? When you look at this one, how it went down at this period of time right here. And then if you look at active inventory, whoops, that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's what I want. You can see active inventory rise rapidly at the beginning of the year. It probably made prices go down. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like you're, it's not exploding upwards anymore, the prices, but they're not crashing either. Hope that helped. Prince George County. Let's see. Somebody asked, oh, okay, there's couple on here I still need to look at. Somebody asked for South OC, South Orange County, California, which I can't look at the south part only, but I can look at Orange County. New listings in Orange County, California. You're up 4% with new listings. That's good. At least some more, there is some activity there with new listings. Pending sales down 4%, call it 5% in the OC. Active. Wow, look at that spike in active inventory at the beginning of the year. It's up 24% now. Call it 25%. Definitely a lot more active homes for sale. Are they affordable? I don't know. That's an expensive market. And now look at median sale price. Down less than 1%, $1.2 million. I lived in Orange County during like right around 2007, 2006, 7, 8. I lived in Orange County, and I didn't own a home, but we looked at buying a home. We qualified for buying a home. I couldn't believe it. My friends all had homes, awesome homes. And I was like, how do they afford these homes? Well, we all know what happened. And we left. We were like, well, this isn't going to work, and started looking at homes back where we're from in Ohio. I was like, man, we can get a deal in Ohio. So we did, and much better for our budget. But $1 million, 1.2 million in Orange County. It's gone sideways, so no crash there. Even though it's down slightly year over year, it's not like it's plummeting. But you do have more active inventory, which is good. You need that. You just need that to sustain. But what about new listings? Go back to that again. The new listings are barely up. Well, they're up 4% year over year. And they're not going straight up. But look, see, same thing happened. Look at 2022. New listings were like going straight up back in 2022, even though at that point they were down from 2021, which is crazy. Maybe this is just a bunch of new construction. I know there's a lot of new construction in Orange County. All right. Let's do the next one. Orange County, San Jose, Colorado, Anacortes. I'm curious on this one. I don't know if they have it on here or not. Anna. You had, let me look real quick. Hold on. Skagit County. That's what I'll look at. Then you had said that, right? You had said Skagit County. All right, Skagit County, Washington. A lot of refineries there. Down 14% with new listings. Geez. Okay. Nobody listing homes. Pending sales in Skagit County, down 4.8. Not a lot of people buying homes. Whoops, let me go to active inventory. Skagit County, you're down 3.5% in active listings. Yeah, and no surprise, you now have a record high $624,000. Wow, homes are really expensive there. I didn't expect that. I mean, the Northwest is expensive, like Seattle, Portland, there is expensive, but goodness gracious. Because that's north, right? Isn't that up near like the Canadian border? $624,000. I mean, right? That's a record high. Yeah, record high. All-time high there for prices. No relief. It doesn't look like there's any relief coming. You just have fewer new listings, right? Oh, no. Yeah, fewer new listings by 14%. Pending sales, those are down. People aren't buying. They're definitely not selling. And prices have not really changed. I mean, they're changing. They're going up, but there's no relief in sight, doesn't look like. Okay. What's next? I'm not going to get to all these. I know I'm not. Houston, South New Jersey, Camden, Toledo, Salt Lake City. We do Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, Utah. What do we got? New listings in Salt Lake. 0.4%. That's it. Yeah, we're seeing this in a lot of metros, folks. Look at, I mean, you can tell 2022, a lot more new listings back in 2022 than 2023. 2024 was not nearly the number of new listings. And now the new listings are actually just basically flat year over year. So again, is a place like Salt Lake, is it possible you already saw your decline? I'm not saying that's the case, but it kind of looks like we're, it's like, I'm not saying we missed the crash, but there are a lot more new listings than a couple years ago, which is strange, right? It's you would think that the new listings would continue to rise. But look at active inventory. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, 23% higher than last year in active inventory. We go to pending sales. Do we do that? Pending sales down 1.6%. Maybe that's why people aren't listing as much, or they're listing as much as they did last year, but nobody, people aren't buying as much by 1.6%. So the active listing count continues to go up. I'll bet at a slow pace. What about median sale price? Yeah, look at median sale price, $550,000, up 3.2%. It's headed straight up. I mean, the record for median sale price was 562, but man, you're getting close. 550. Prices in Salt Lake are high. And those mountain areas they're challenging. Very challenging. Wyoming's like that. I don't know. A lot of people must have moved out there, or maybe during COVID or something. Yeah, prices there are unrelenting. Los Angeles State, St. John County. Somebody asked for St. John County, Florida. I don't even know where that is. St. Johns County, Florida. Let's look at new listings in St. John County. How many we got? 203, down 21%. Where is St. I'm just curious, so I know for next time. Oh, it's near St. Augustine, right? Okay. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, look at the new listings. Actually, I just helped a client move from Florida. It could have been St. John County, for all I know, because it was St. Augustine. They sold the property in St. Augustine, sold it fast. Like, I was shocked how fast they sold it, you know, because I keep hearing Florida is melting down. They sold that thing quickly and bought another house, obviously in Ohio, and they sold their house in Florida really fast. So to see new listings down, maybe that's why. Maybe there's, you know, not as much carnage in a lot of spots in Florida as maybe I think there is. Pending sales down 9%. So nobody selling, nobody buying. Market kind of just stagnant down there. And then active listings. Yeah, look at this. Only up 5.3%. Well, median sale price. What's that doing? Boy, that's all over the place. Wow. Median sale price is down 7%. Down 7%. And that's, yeah, I mean, for this time of year, it's a 4-year low, basically. Okay. St. Johns County, Florida. But it hasn't gone down this year. It's kind of just steadily trended upwards, probably because of the active inventory. Let me go back to new listings and see what those did. Now look at the spike in new listings in 2022, like it happened in a lot of areas. At that time, new listings were up 24%. Geez. Then let me see. What's up with active inventory? Yeah, look, like back in 2022, active listings were up 50% at this time of year. Well, no, that's not right. Up 18% this time of year. Now they're only up 5%. So again, maybe a bunch of people threw their house on the market at that time in 2022 when interest rates like crazy. And then now they're kind of like, well, people are slowly buying them and not a lot of people listing them. Maybe that carnage passed. I don't know. But prices are still down right now year over year. I would say my clients in Florida listed their home correctly. They listed it at a price that made sense to move it. And they understood that. They weren't greedy. That's what you have to do as a seller in most markets. You have to list it competitively, you know, or in a compelling way. So people look at the price and go, that seems like a decent price. Let me go look at the home. That's what you want. Instead of being like, oh, I'm going to list it way over market price and hope somebody buys it. That usually doesn't work. And usually it creates a lower price at the end of the day, not a higher price, which is odd. Okay, so let me see. Let me do one more. I'm going to do Toledo. If I don't get to yours today, I will do my best to get to it next time. New listings in Toledo, Ohio. What do we got? Wow, down 13%. Nobody listing at all. Pending sales, where are those? Up 16.8%. People definitely buying. Active listings, up 7.9%. And median sale price, a record high, 224 in Toledo. Yeah, 224,000. Up 6.9, call it 7% year over year. Toledo is on fire. Like doesn't seem like they can hold inventory, and prices continue to go up there. Must be a lot of investors, I guess. Or maybe the fact that houses are 224,000, maybe people coming down from Canada or Detroit. I don't know. But I'm going to do like a boots on the ground type video for Toledo and many other markets in Ohio, but I'll post them on the Ohio Housing Nerd channel. So I will do that coming up. I definitely want to look at Toledo, go out there and see what's happening. Not with new home construction. I mean, I'll look at new home construction, but I want to look at existing home construction. Like going to all these cities across the country and not looking at existing houses is strange. I'm always wondered, like Real Estate Mindset does that. And Travis and Melody travel all over the country. And I thought, man, that's a ton of money and time. Why aren't you looking at existing homes? Like they only want to go to new home sites. I don't understand that. Because there's a lot of areas that have existing homes. I could never figure that out, why they didn't want to go to existing homes. But I'm going to. I want to see the existing homes. All right. Let me, so if I didn't get to your metro, I apologize. I will do it on the next one. Let me just get to some of these comments to wrap up, and then I got to take off. Stephen Humphrey. My wife and I should have bought this nice triplex in old Colorado City 12 years ago, 249. Now it's 700K. Yeah. The best time to buy real estate is 5 years ago, right? that's what my wife always says. I mean, if you want to get into the housing market, folks, and you're struggling to find a deal, this example right here is what you should pay attention to, because a triplex, if you can live in one unit and rent out the other units, that's like the secret way to get into a housing market and own real estate. If I could do anything over again, real estate wise, it would have been to buy a multifamily, a small multifamily, 2, 3, 4 unit building, and live in one unit and rent out the other ones early in life. And now, I mean, it would be a completely different ball game for me. It's a great way to break into the real estate market. So now recognize that, Stephen, and maybe go out and find one now. I know you say it's 700 grand. Maybe you find one that needs work, like 2 of the units are destroyed. 1 unit's okay. You live in one and rent out the other ones. Not everybody can do that. If you have kids and stuff, maybe it doesn't work, but it'd be nice. Nice to do. Super Tech Boy, what's up? Jason, I'm curious on your thoughts on Opendoor as both a buyer and seller. As far as being a buyer and seller, well, they are. I've seen them buy homes and overpay. I've seen them buy homes and get a good deal. Like I've seen deals close where Opendoor buys them. And I've seen them sit on homes for a long time. I think a lot of the companies that were doing the whole thing where they want to buy a property that needs not a lot of work, and they put like paint in it, maybe redo some flooring, clean up the outside and throw it back on the market for 25% more. That is, those days are gone. So I think a lot of those folks are going to suffer and continue to suffer because the market's not moving like that anymore. And I see a lot of Opendoor homes that are sitting on the market for, 60, 90 days when the market's moving at 30 days. So I think the model makes sense. Like I understand what they were trying to do or they want to do. And I'm not saying they will never be successful, but I think in general, that model isn't going to work because the market's not moving like it was previously. And as buyer demand stays low, that'll be even more of a challenge for them. And the other thing is they don't usually offer the best price. At least in my experience, they don't. Like when they're buying a home, their offers are like okay, but they're not, I wouldn't call it market pricing, because they need that delta in order to make money. Jay Holiday, market's still competitive, especially for single family residents in decent areas. I put an offer for a house for 700K, which was listed at 695. The selling agent asked us to put in our best offer, but I didn't. Oh, it was like a best and final offer. Yeah, I mean, and is that like you offered 700 and it was listed at 695, and they said try again, calling for final and best, or best and highest, best and final, whatever they want to call it, right? Yeah, sounds like a tough market. I see some other requests on here. Ventura County, Sir Lion. I'll get to that when I can. Probably, obviously, it'll be next time. Let me just look for anything else I can quickly help with. The smart boomers are all moving back to north, and that started 2 to 3 years ago. Super Tech Boy, tune into my Ohio channel, Ohio Housing Nerd, and you can actually request it on there because I did a live Redfin review of just Ohio, and I'll do more of those. So request it on that channel, and I'll definitely get to it. All right, a lot of good comments. Listen, guys, thanks for your time today. I got to wrap it up. I got to get to an appointment, but you've been fantastic as always. I sincerely appreciate your time, and you know, it's a valuable resource. Time is. So the fact that you're spending it with all of us and supporting the Housing Nerd channel, I just can't thank you enough. You keep it up, and I will see you on the next Redfin live update. Be on the lookout for the tax video coming up this weekend when I interview the person who's abolishing taxes in Ohio. And then I've got a good Zillow update for you as well. And if you have a suggestion on a video you'd like to see, like a topic that you've seen on another channel, or you want to see my perspective on it, or you just have an idea for a video, put it in some comment somewhere or email me. My info's in the description, and I take those things seriously. So anyway, again, thank you for your time today. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next live update from the Housing Nerd. I'm out. OUT out.